This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only.
I'd like to welcome to the show Paul Wallace. How you doing, Paul?
G'day, Alex. It's great to be with you today, and I'm tip-top.
I appreciate you coming on the show, my friend. I'm a fan of the work that you've been doing on YouTube. And there is a lot of people who is curious and not really buying of the Bible. And I talk about the Council of Nicaea on this show. And people were like, what, there was a council that put the Bible together? I'm like, yeah, it didn't come from a mountaintop somewhere. It was a bunch of guys editing things they wanted out and putting things in that they needed to control the populace and so on and so forth.
Once you're reading the Bible all on its own, and many Christians boast it's the only book they read, when you read it on its own, you don't have that context. You don't say, oh, I recognize the pattern. And over the generations, translators have presented these stories in a more spiritualized way. I show that we can go back to the Hebrew original text. This is the wonder of the Bible, and say, I'm not sure that was translated quite right. What's the root meaning of these words again? And that's been my approach into this whole other layer of story. And it's a story that gives a totally different explanation of human origins, human potential, and our place in the cosmos.
Sky gods that show up are called the Anunnaki. The sky god storyline is in indigenous cultures around the world for as long as we can remember. I mean, with thousands of years, these stories were passed along about sky gods coming down and talking about this. And so it's literally on stone in the Sumerian texts, as well as the monoliths and things like that we've discovered.
Should disrupt the entire.
Oh, yes. So when I talk about the watchers, adding the observers who came down, the observers are introduced in Genesis 11, in the biblical version of it, to get people to the heavens, or so people could reach the heavens. Well, as soon as you realize that the heavens was just an ancient way of talking about the sky and deep space, and it was as I took the time to read the Bible in the context of world literature and ancient indigenous story, I realized that the themes that repeat from culture to culture are all about external interventions from beings that you and I would call extraterrestrials. And now we begin to realize, wait a minute, this is either a launch pad or a portal, and we're talking about a civilization reaching spacefaring capacity. That is where many of the biblical narratives come from. Doing this translation work in the Bible, I was now reading the summary form of the Sumerian. And as I followed that white rabbit, that's when we discovered, oh my goodness, this is where the story of Eden comes from. This is where the story of Babel comes from. This is where the story of Adam and Eve comes from. These are not God's stories. They are about sky people, or Anunnaki. And the word indicates people who came from the sky. So many of the stories begin with the advanced beings coming down from the sky. In the Bible, the advanced beings are called the Elohim.
Sexiest product on earth.
As you call the powerful ones.
There has been many debates about the Bible translation, about Psalms 82. Michael Heiser wrote a book, The Wars of the Elohim, and Mauro Beglino agrees with Paul Wallace. These are expert Bible translators.
It's translated that Elohim, as singular, stands in the midst of plural Elohim. What's the real translation of Psalm 82? Yeah, as you call the powerful ones. Hi guys, I love your work, okay? And I'm really intrigued by Mario Biglino. regarding the Elohim translations, I remember I've heard Dr. Michael Heiser, who has unfortunately passed away, on his take of Psalm 82, and in his take, he said that it's translated that Elohim as singular stands in the midst of plural Elohim. So it looks like Psalm 82 is referring to as the word Elohim as a singular and also as a plural. And this is his take on the fact that Elohim can also mean God, like singular God, but also can mean as you call the powerful ones. That would be nice to hear.
Yo, yo, yo! Here we go! This is a Pinguinati production. From the Sagittarius arm Earth to the Orion planet. Welcome to your new Earth. Welcome to your new normal.
I love pointing people to your work, Mauro, because your credentials for biblical translation are superb. They can't be challenged. They can't be questioned. And
is the Hebrew text, and under we have the literal translation of each word. And these books are in the university, in the Faculty of Theology, and these books translate literally what the Bible says. And it's important because often in the Bible for the family, many verbs that in Hebrew are in the plural form are translated in a singular form. And this is a mistake, is a mistranslation. And this is a mistake, is a mistranslation. And this is a mistake, is a mistranslation, is an inconsistency. It's false. It's false, I would say.
Absolutely.
Because these books made for the scholars have the right translation, because the scholars know the Hebrew, and so they know what is plural and what is singular. Don't know Hebrew and have to read singular also when in Hebrew we have plural. And I think this is a mistranslation. There is, I think there is a sort of willingness to make the Bible understandable.
Yes.
Oh, I beg your pardon, but I have Tourette's syndrome, so I have the need, while I'm speaking, to control the movement. Sorry, but the Tourette's syndromes, it's very strong. I can only to try to control.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves.
No, I'm not telling him. No, I'm not telling him.
Never mistake it for honey and eat it. In reality, honey isn't pulled out, it's regurgitated. So, do you enjoy eating honey? Bees need to fly approximately miles 55,000 and visit 100,000 flowers to produce 1 kilogram of honey. Even after a lifetime, a single bee can only produce a small spoonful of honey. So, do you enjoy eating honey? Is honey what bees pull out? If you encounter a Is honey what bees pull out? If you encounter a bee outdoors walking while dragging something, never mistake it for honey and eat it. In reality, honey isn't pulled out, it's regurgitated. Bees have a specialized honey stomach to store nectar. It takes collecting nectar from 1,000 flowers to fill it. After bees gather nectar and return home, they regurgitate the stored nectar mouth to another bee. However, the enzymes in one bee's body aren't enough to convert this nectar into honey, so typically it takes about 100 bees passing the nectar back and forth before it's finally deposited into the hive. Then, the bees fan their wings to raise the temperature inside the hive, evaporating the excess water from the honey, resulting in the sweet substance we
Name Popeye's favorite food.
Chicken! Oh my God!
Show me chicken! Name Popeye's favorite food.
Chicken!
I love pointing people to your work, Mauro, because your credentials for biblical translation are superb. They can't be challenged. They can't be questioned. And I find that it is easy for me to find people in the academic world to acknowledge what you and I are saying. Even if they don't want to agree publicly with all our conclusions, they know the validity of what we're saying. But what frustrates me is that though there is that respect at that level, when you go into communities of faith, into churches, what is known by the academics is not known by the millions of people who go to churches and maybe synagogues all around the world, and they will be maintaining the traditional interpretations and traditional translations as if they are defending God by defending those translations, not knowing that the people who train their rabbis and pastors might see things a very different way. And it's one of the things that motivates me in my writing, because I think people should know these things. So, for instance, the basic fact that so many of the Elohim stories in the Bible are the summary form of the Mesopotamian stories from ancient Sumeria, Babylonia, Arcadia, and Assyria. You can find it in the editorial notes in the New Jerusalem Bible. You can find it discussed by academics. But even after 150 years of that knowledge being in academia, still most people in the churches don't know anything about it. And I think that's a great shame.
Oh, yes. And what is important is, in my opinion, to say that many people believe to a book, believe to that translation of a book, and they don't know that the translations are not right. Not right. Not right. Not right.
This has been a Illuminati production. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos. If you'd like to support the channel, links are in the description.